So Ruffalo's still with us. Sage is quite happy. As you can see, the grass still isn't that good. There are parts that obviously do look greener than others, but we're now on May the not entirely sure. I think it's about the 19th. Yeah, I think it's the 19th of May today. So I see a lot of photos from Scottish mainland where, you know, they've got pastures of, you know, really lush green grass, and here we're still kind of scrubby grass, but it's growing. And I say we had a full day of rain yesterday, so that will hopefully help it grow. So we've got some of the later lambs here. So this coming to us now, looking very scraggly, is Lavender, and she is Sage's mum. Has zero interest in him, which is why he became a caddy. She'll sort of have a sniff, and that's about it. But yeah, she no interest in being a mum. And again, she's one that's sort of losing her coat, so she's got a bare neck. And then on the right there, that's Pinky Nose and her lamb. And I think that's possibly Tilda with her lamb. Hey, who's that, Sage? Your mummy? Yeah, that's Tilda. And her lamb. And Lavender is actually a caddy as well. She was another hill rescue 2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago. So she was hand reared, which is why she's quite friendly. I have a number of these kind of old stone shelters in the field, which are great for when the weather is really horrible. I can quite see. Oh, there's Ruffalo. They tend to be built in a sort of cross shape, so they provide shelter from every wind direction. As I say, they're invaluable throughout the winter and the months of really horrid weather. These hills beyond the fence line, they're called hoyne, and that's shared grazing. So I have a share on there. I think there are maybe 6 crofts, 5 or 6 crofts have what we call again a share on hoyne, and the share is 3 sheep for this area. It's not a huge amount of land, so each croft has 3 sheep up there. And same as with the common grazing, the hill sheep, we bring them in several times a year, sort of check on them, dose them, do their feet, check the lambs, that kind of thing. There's some beautiful views today. This is just over into my next door neighbour's land and down to the sea. Then that's Malcolm's Head. Zoom in as much as I can. The structure you can just see right on the very top of Malcolm's Head in the centre of the frame that's the old Coast Guard lookout station. So we'll go for a walk up there one day and I'll show you a bit more from there. My sister and brother-in-law who live in America, they visited for the first time last year, last summer, end of July, beginning of August, and I think they were here in total with cancelled flights and everything because of the weather. They were here for about 9 days, and I think for about 7.5 of those 9 days it was just thick fog every single day. So we climbed up Malcolm's Head in the fog, so we didn't really get many views from there. We did Ward Hill, which you can barely see in the very background, in the fog, so again not very good views, but that's probably the biggest problem we have in the summer months. Yes, you get amazing days like this, but fog is you know, here a lot of the time, and it sort of lingers. And although the boat can go sometimes depending on the sea conditions, it does mean that we don't get flights in for sort of several days at a time. What's that, Ruffy? Ruffalo. Where's Sage? There he is. Hi. Come on then, should we carry on? We've got sheeprock in the background. Pund, which is the, zoom in a bit, the ruins just there. And Setter Croft in the background. So this, I think, is little Miss Teddy Bear and her twins. It's really interesting to see the coloured ones grow. This is the first year I've actually bred some pure Shetland lambs. So it's the very first year that I've actually had any coloured lambs. And Guinness, the one on the left, was sort of pure black apart from a few white speckles on the head when they were born, and I don't know if you can quite see, but if you sort of look under her coat, she's not black all the way through. It's sort of got a grey white undercoat to it, whereas her brother, I think he's pure black. So it'll be really interesting to see how their fleeces develop over the next year or so until they're ready to be clipped for the first time, which is really exciting. Hi, teddy bear. Hi. Hey, Guinness. This black-faced yow here is Macaroon, and her lamb you can just see is Marble. She's one that originally came off the hill as a lamb, so she's not hugely friendly. She's one of the more timid ones. I'll try and get you a good shot of Marble, her son. You can quite see with the sun that he's really beautifully marked. It's got a real black and white coat. I'm sure there's one of the specific terms of markings for him, but I don't know them. I get told, but I can never remember them. So he's a real handsome little man. There's Macaroon. So Marble, Macaroon's lamb, he's a ram lamb, and he is the only one I'm going to keep entire, because I think hopefully if his coat stays like this or sort of blends to a grey, I'm hoping then in another year or 18 months to put him to some of my coloured Shetlands, hopefully produce some more coloured fleeces. So I've got Bumble the black ram and Busby the white ram, so hopefully this might give me some other colour combinations as well in years to come. see some of the land's still quite sort of soft and boggy. There are parts that just never ever dry out. Back over Billy Burn. Careful. Good boy. Marigold. We'll meet her in a minute. So this is Patchwork. She's my only Suffolk sheep, and she came to me from Setter, the Croft there, 4 years ago as a caddy. Really beautiful. So she was on my first caddies with Popcorn, Curly Whirly and Sharona. Someone's got a cough, scraggly baggly I think. And Patchwork 2 years ago had this lamb, oh sage honestly, Marigold, who's giant, and Marigold, this was her first year lambing. And she had these two. So that makes Patchwork, I'll say proud grandma, but she's not that interested. Hello Marigold. Hello beautiful. So Marigold is half Suffolk and half Texel. That's Patchwork. That's her twins just there. Annie. And this is Poppy. Is that Poppy? No, Daffodil. With Poppy's lamb. Oh, and there's Poppy. Hey, Pops. So Poppy wasn't a caddy, but 2 years ago, I ended up, probably when she was about 4 weeks old. So she was one of twins. She'd been raised absolutely fine, probably like now, out in the field with her sibling and her mum, but she just wasn't doing well. The sibling was about twice the size of her, and she was very, very small and just not really thriving. So I ended up bringing her in and kind of raising her with the caddies I had that year, and she came on really well, and yeah, this was her first year to the ram, and she had this lovely one there. Hey Poppy. Hi Poppy. Too much grass to eat, leave me alone. Oh, Sleepy. I was wondering when we'd find Sleepy. And that's Sleepy's lamb, the little one. there. Sleepy. Sleepy is my smallest Shetland. She's a real sweetie. Hi, Sleeps. Sleepy. Hello, beautiful girl. So again, she was one that before I took the Croft on, she originally came from the hill. That's why she's got the ear notches. That's the Barkland ear mark. That's her little lamb. Just there. He was very small when he was born, which I suppose is good in one respect because Sleepy's very small. But I was a little bit concerned about him for a couple of days, so kept him and Sleepy in a bit longer than I normally would before putting him out in the big field. But he's doing really, really well now. He's a good size, and they're both doing well. This is Scraggly Baggly and her twins. Hey, Scraggles. Hi. Hi, sweetheart. You're going to say hello. She's a bit timid, but she will come and sort of sniff your hand and then, oh, have a pee. That's great. Let's move away from that. So this field here and the one further down just by the road. Oh no, it's just going to a really fat view of my finger. But anyway, the one by the road and this, they're now fenced off, and they will be till July time, end of July. So these are my two silage parks. So what would it be, about 5 days ago, Ian, my next door neighbour, who has the big tractors, he came and spread the fertiliser on here and on the other field as well. So obviously we have to stop the sheep getting into these fields now, and then hopefully the grass will grow, and in a couple of months it'll be time for it to be cut and turned and baled, and that's what feeds the sheep throughout the winter. Go on, Sage. So I'm not sure where Ruffalo's got to, but I've just spotted her. She's over there. And then the final one of my original caddies, this is Sharona. She was actually a caddy from the Croft, so her mum wouldn't take to her. Hi. You can really see the texel in her with her wrinkly nose. She's giant. I mean, she's like a giant barrel. You'd think that she hasn't even lambed yet, but she was one of the first to lamb sort of a month ago. This chunker is a lamb. Obviously finding it quite hot. Oh, we're all peeing today. she'll let me get any closer to her. It's actually really warm today. It's probably the warmest day we've had actually. That's Baba. She's a very timid one, so I won't get any closer to her and her lamb. Hi. Who else have we got up here? The one walking away is Ready Breck and her twins Biscuit and Barkley. Steve McQueen in the background. There's Bluebell. Custard. Oh, she's found her other twin, or made his way up. And here is Butterscotch. This bundle of cuteness here. And her twins. Hi, beautiful girl. Is that my Butterscotch? Butterscotch is very smiley. There's my good girl. Oh, my good girl. I'm smiling. Butterscotch smiling. Yeah. Scratchy time. Scratchy time. She has one of my favourite fleeces of the whole flock. If I can just move around and it without the sun blocking it. Oh, it's got beautiful wavy crimpy fleece, but then she has these sort of punk bits as well. It's kind of coarse. I think they're called guard hairs. Let's see if I can show you how dense her fleece is. These beautiful kind of corkscrew curls and these coarse bits like a Mohican hairdo. And again, she's starting to lose some of her fleece around her neck. So it won't be too long before we'll start clipping. Sage. Oh, and Ruffalo. Hi. There's It's one of my favourite things, just spending time with the sheep, which you can argue isn't productive. It's not paying bills, it's not earning money, but it has other benefits. Hey Sagey! You can see probably by the length this video will be just how easy it is to lose time. Just, you know, at the moment I'm checking the fields twice a day, sometimes 3 times. I don't spend this long every single time, but certainly when it's good weather, it's just so easy to spend time just with each of the ewes. And I think it pays off when, you know, when I bring them in for sort of treating them, whether it's, you know, dosing them several times a year, doing their foot care, general sort of health checkup, clipping them. They're so used to me that it doesn't bother them. They're not freaked out or anything like that. So that's a definite benefit. Scratchy. Oh, scratchy. And just look at this beautiful fleece. So there we go. That's the ewes and lambs. That's all of them now over from the sort of the byre and the nursery park, all out in the big wide world. You can see they're completely chilled out. They're not stressed. They're not bothered with me and the cat and the caddy walking around them. Happy sheep, which is the way it should be. There's Sharona again and her lamb. Hi, Primrose. I keep wanting to call her lamb Marilyn because she has this, I don't know if I can get it, beauty spot. Oh, Sage, you're pushing my arm. Sorry about the wobble, Sage is trying to climb up me. There's Solo and her twins. There's one just in the background. Hi Solo. Another one who's lost her neck hair. Hi Solo. Hi pretty girl. So the ones we put over the road just at the start of this walk. That is Greta and her lamb. And then we've got Rhubarb and Primrose and their lambs here by the gate. There's Primrose, speckled ears. Ruffalo. Sage. Your bath is a good scratching post. I'm hoping that Sage might stay with Primrose and her lamb. So we'll see how it goes.